Hey guys, you are back. I think so. There we are. Okay. Hi. So this is the fourth episode of Movies, Music, and Mayhem. It's a little crazy. We're on our fourth week of the show. Had my birthday a few weeks ago, and I am so excited to introduce to you one of my longest tour friends, actually. We met, I want to say 2006 or 7 on Warped Tour. Been friends ever since. The only person in the entire world that I will allow myself to drink Jägermeister with. Everybody, please give a very warm welcome to Jason DeVore. Yay!
Hi, everybody. How we doing out there? Come on now. Good to see you. What's happening?
Amazing. I love that mask. It makes me very, very happy. So how's everything going?
You can pick these up. No, I'm just kidding. Things are going. You know, everybody knows how they're going. You as well. Things are going well. I'm doing a lot of house projects. Unfortunately, the entire year of Authority Zero touring and my personal gigs as well have been canceled for obvious reasons. And just doing
Well, kind of been canceled because you do have something going on tomorrow night, right?
I've actually got 2 things going on tomorrow night. Now as it lies, I do have 2 concerts. They're actual festivals that are happening, which is exciting. It's online. My friend John Ghazi from
what's that? No, it's right down there. The link is right there.
Audio?
The Speakeasy Live.
Oh, it's down here. Yes, there you go. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. See, I'm still not good at the online stuff, guys. I'm trying. I'm used to live stuff. But yeah, so I'm doing a festival with my friend John Ghazi, the Supervillains, and more artists to be announced on the East Coast out there in the Florida area in San Martin, right around the afternoon East Coast time, around 1:30, roughly Pacific Standard Time. And then shortly thereafter, doing a show with some very heavy hitters and some very cool people doing something that's called Beach Life Fest, online also, obviously. Which was supposed to be a live giant festival, but obviously things got pushed back and canceled in some regard. With Jim Lindbergh from Pennywise, we got Jason Cruz from Strung Out. He'll be doing a set himself. It's all acoustic, by the way, for the most part. We got Sublime with Rome going to be joining in also. My friend Mr. Mike Sparrow is going to be joining me from Authority Zero from bass to guitar. Him and I's a duo, and Trevor Keith from Face to Face, and Chris Shiplett from Foo Fighters. No big deal. So it's gonna be a good time. So it's definitely a fun day.
It's totally fine. Yeah, guys, it's gonna be
fun. I'm so honored.
Yeah, it should be a really good time. So that's the lineup for tomorrow night. I'll post it again towards the end of the show just to remind everybody. But those should be East or West Coast time. So if you're East Coast, add 3 hours. It's amazing. Yeah. So we met.
And there's a special guest.
And wait, what? There's a special guest?
There's a special guest. I'm sorry. Past Sublime with Rome as well. Closing out the show after Sublime with Rome also. Just to give people a little more incentive to stay tuned in.
Is this a secret?
It's pretty cool.
All right. Is it someone I know? Is it a friend of ours? Just trying to wheedle out any information.
Oh, I got some delay. I'm sorry. Hold on.
No worries.
You got me?
I got you. Yeah.
Oh.
Everybody's experiencing issues these days because everybody is online right now.
1 second, Rach. I'm sorry. I've lost you. Audibly, I've lost you. Hello?
Yes, Alex, just a few local bands.
Let me see if I can't fix this real quick. All right, tell you what, I'm going to go straight to for sound because right now something's not working right.
This is what happens, folks. You know what's funny? This is exactly what can happen during a live show. Live theater, live show, anything live. Shit happens.
All right, you got me?
I got you vocally, but there we go.
Why is nothing working, Sonic? I can't hear you at all. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hey, guys in the chat, can you hear me?
happened?
Turn up the volume. Jason, you know I'm never quiet.
Promise I'm trying, everybody.
This is fun. I could try and get him to
Technology is
do
cool.
just about anything right now. Well, so just to reiterate, while Jason is messing with his technology, so Jason's going to be a part of a festival that was canceled. We were supposed to hang out this weekend at this festival. It was going to be amazing.
Everybody keep smiling.
It is free, so you do get to enjoy
technology. Good.
You do get to enjoy all these amazing sets. It is a free concert. You can find Beach Life Festival on Facebook, and then just set up a notification. You should be fine. It'll send you a little ping when people are going to be when it's going to start. Cruise by whenever. Obviously, catch Jason's stuff. It's going to be a mix of Authority Zero songs and solo songs. Yeah, this is all the fun.
1 sec, Rach. I apologize.
How dare
I
you?
love this new online performance kind of thing.
Well, plus everybody and their mother is online right now. Can you hear me? No one wants me to start singing.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oops.
Can you hear me? Yes. No. No. This is the best radio, guys. It's the best live show. Yeah, we can hear him. Let me throw this in there. All right. Thanks for hanging in there with us, guys. Well, or Alex and Dean. Oh, hi, Dean. Oh, thanks for. I love AEW. I mean, you know, I was gonna wear a band shirt, but I don't think any of their stuff fits me anymore, so I'm not gonna do that. And now I can't hear him. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Guys, this is the best just display of errors. We were doing fine before this. We did an equipment check, I promise. Thank you for sticking with us. I might have to edit this and put it on before it goes live. Before I repost this. Still can't hear you. Cannot hear Jason. Did we hear the news? Jason, can you hear me? Okay, I can't hear you. Go and check at the bottom of the screen. Make sure that you are broadcasting audio. Check and make sure that the mute, you're good. I can't hear you. He's definitely not muted. Yes, thank you, Alex. Guys in the chat, can you hear Jason or is it just on me? Nope. Okay, there he goes. I think he's going to try coming back. So, fun story. So while Jason is trying to reconnect, let's take some questions from you guys. Anybody have any questions? Yes, Alex, Papa, can you hear me? I'll ask him that. Wait, Ferris, you could hear him? Or are you just playing? Are you pulling my leg? This is 4 weeks. Something had to go wrong. Thank you, Ferris. I love AEW. I'm trying to get some of their people on. So if anybody wants to go on Twitter and tag AEW Wrestling to let me interview their people, that would be amazing. Okay, Alex, can we get a movie food review? And yes, and what did I order? So the movies, for all of you who know, movies did they're doing a pop-up in LA, and they only have one item that you can order, and it's either vegan or omnivore. And and it is a lasagna sandwich, which sounds a little interesting. Hold on one second. Do you need... Oh, device not... Okay, I think he's here. Okay, hold on one second. I hear you. Do you hear me?
You got me?
Yeah! Okay, guys. All right, Alex, I'll finish answering your question at the end because I don't want to risk losing Jason again.
I hate this technology stuff, man.
Yeah. Well, once you get
right.
once you figure it out, and it goes so smoothly after that. After that, I say cheers because I have to keep drinking.
Shit, I had a beer. Hold on a second.
Oh my God,
You out to
Jason.
my, I know I'm failing you right now. I'm
How
gonna
do
take
you
you guys into my lovely kitchen.
A nice tour of the house.
Yeah, a little tour of the house. You want to
I
see
feel-
the laundry room I did this afternoon? Actually, I hung
Oh my
this
God,
whole-
yes.
I did this whole shelving unit myself. This thing up here was actually 3 times the size. And I chopped it down.
Is that what you were cutting on Facebook the other day?
Yeah, and I shaved it down and I painted it and I hung this thing up with drywall screws myself. And now it's a fully functioning. And here's the actual laundry room.
Wow.
Yeah, I did this myself too and painted this thing up and lacquered it. Feel pretty good about it.
Singer, songwriter, carpenter.
I'm turning into one as this pandemic goes on. Yes, not so much a performing artist anymore. I'm more the carpenter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so for everybody who doesn't know, Jason lives in Arizona, and it is balls hot.
All the balls.
All the balls. It's hotter than, I like to say, it's hotter than the devil's taint.
It is. It truly is, especially when you're trying to do something like this. Even in your house, it's a super sweaty, gross project.
Oh, Ferris Mathana, who's a huge supporter, says you're just like Harrison Ford.
I'm like Harrison Ford. Is he a carpenter too?
Yeah, actually, that's how he got his. That's how he got Han Solo, was because he was fixing a door jamb at I think it was at Lucas Ranch, and they asked him to like sit in for a table read, and they loved him, and that's basically how he got Han Solo.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So sometimes it's where you are. Oh, and truly, guys,
dude.
He doesn't know. It's okay. Everybody, so there's a huge faction in the no, it's not an insult. There's a huge faction with the movie Trivia Schmodown that I'm a part of. There's a group of fans called the Action Army, and they are White Claw enthusiast. Is that the word?
Okay, so they back it more than truly.
Yes, but
okay. Well, I think these are pretty good. They leave a bad taste in your mouth in the morning. I've come to find out. If you have one like bedside as you're crashing out, even after you brush your teeth, you're still kind of stuck with like this kind of really just the worst breath you've had ever. And you're like, what the hell is in my mouth? And it's truly gross.
Guys, that's saying a lot kind of coming from somebody who's toured as long as we have.
True.
We've woken up with some stank mouth after some nights.
It's like the interview, like, oh, you gotta smell this. I got stank mouth.
God, I missed you.
James Franco, man. James Franco, he's the best.
That movie is it came out at the perfect time, but like also the wrong time. Like I rewatched it the other day, not intending for it to be like the same day that there were all those reports that Kim Jong-un was dead.
Yeah, I just heard that recently myself too. Like, I don't know. I've heard a lot of things. To be honest with you, just heard things. But yeah, it's a pretty awesome movie. I love it. I can watch it over and over again. It's just comical.
I mean, James Franco and in just about anything other than 127 Hours is like really fun.
Yeah, that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't not like that situation?
Yeah, that sounds awful.
But yeah, James Franco, he's one of my favorite. Like, he turned into like one of my favorite comedian actors, I guess, without being like just a funny slapstick humor kind of guy.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey is my absolute favorite, like, for years, even though he's like running out of characters to do, and he's kind of repeating himself. But
I don't know. Did you see Sonic?
I did see Sonic 2. It's been a long while. I saw one. I think I fell asleep to it.
Okay, fair. I'm fair.
I mean,
we're also not
10-year-old.
Way,
but I was like,
so
yeah, precisely, yeah.
wasn't necessarily made for us, but it kind of was.
Yeah.
But I really love the fact that he like got back to his roots and playing, you know, Dr. Robotnik, and he was just like crazy, that over the top, like wacky wildness, and just took me back to, you know, The Mask and everything. It's just, and plus he's had such a hard life that being able to see him like get to that happy place is really nice.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, like I say, he's one of my all-time favorites, and it's obviously comedy comes through tragedy, and you know that's where, you know, like Robin Williams, all that stuff. It's a hardship, and your comedy kind of lightens your mood, or at least makes other people happy through the hardships of it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of lightening your mood, what movies do you find yourself going to when you need that like that lift?
Marvel movies. I'm a Marvel movie guy.
Yeah.
I love all the Marvel movies, like Thor, Incredible Hulk. You know, gosh, who else? Captain America. Like Captain America is not Marvel. Is he Marvel?
Yeah, yes.
It's Marvel. Okay, that's what I thought. You know, Avengers, all that stuff. Like that's kind of my go-to. I just love big cinematic. I mean, I love like independent films and stuff like that too. But these are the ones that like, it's like if you just want to go and take a breath and just like sit back and eat 10 bags of popcorn, you know, drink 5 sodas and like 10 bags of Crunch little boxed chocolates. That's my shit. I go to that. If a new one's coming out, I'm there pretty much day 2 because I'm not day 1 because I know it'll be packed and stupid, but try and get the best seats right center. And I just enjoy those a lot.
Yeah, those were, I was a little sad that like, because like during the heyday of my touring years, like those weren't the movies that were coming out yet. Like they were big, but like it was like towards the end of my touring life, and I was just kind of like exhausted and didn't want to leave the hotel unless I was going to work.
You don't say.
Yeah, right. Or coming to meet up with you, which happened quite a lot actually. The surprises on tour. Well, speaking of throughout the years, guys, you want to see something really funny? So this is Jason and I the last time we saw each other. This was probably what, like 6-7 months ago?
That is it? I mean, it seems longer than that with that jacket on. I'm just kind of thinking like, I didn't wear that jacket. I think I wore that jacket that tour we rolled the van.
I can't remember. I know it was in like a coastal city. It was like Huntington or something like that, or Redondo. But that was the last time we saw each other. And this was one of the first times we hung out. Now look at his face there and look at it here. Jason has not aged. I'm calling it now vampire.
Neither one of us have aged a day. You kidding me?
Ugh, I feel it.
We're all drinking the red juice.
Jeez. It's
I feel it. We rapped about this before we started up everything, and it's like internally you can definitely feel the changes. Externally, you slowly see the changes and the effects of tour life and just rock and roll in general, and you name it, you know.
Well, I mean, when we first started hanging out, you would get me to do shots of Jaeger.
Oops.
For some reason. Would like you would like, I think one time you actually put me in a headlock and were like, drink the shot. I was like, fine, because you're basically my big brother at this point.
No, I believe you. I probably did, at 2 or 3 in the morning, just like, oh, come on, man.
Bus call's not for another hour. Let's do this.
That's right. We got 2 more hours till van call. Let's all hang out and get really weird.
We got a day off tomorrow. It's fine.
Off, which means like let's ruin the day off by drinking pounds of Jägermeister so you sleep through the entire day, like just not good sleep.
Yes, Alex. Jaeger is absolutely the worst.
Yeah. Alex, but hey, check it out. It's a diuretic at the same time. It also helps if you do it in moderation. It helps cleanse your colon and whatever's attached to that inside here and all the other things. Unfortunately, your liver has to play a role in that whole game as well. So there is damage to be done, but you get more fluid, if you know what I mean.
It's true. So
you're not eating good on the road anyways, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Ferris, just to be clear, this was probably on Warped Tour where I think I remember like maybe 12% of things that happened on Warped Tour. I don't know about you, Jason, but between the heat, the booze, and just the constant repetitiveness of every day being just about the same, it just you don't remember shit.
No, it's Groundhog's Day. I mean, it really is. But unfortunately, in an odd way, it's as far as especially the artists, I guess, set times are not scheduled until that day of. And so you're like, oh yeah, it's the end of like this night in Chicago, so I'm gonna go ahead and just party all night with buds and yada yada yada. Just kind of bounce back and forth, and then all of a sudden you get that bang on the door at like 10 a.m., which is not late for most people, but for if you're up till 7 a.m., obviously, and you've been singing over and over again, you get that alarming knock on the door, and you get freaked out, and they're like, "You're on in 10 minutes," and you wake up, there's no voice left. You've been like raging, screaming with your buddies all night, smoking, drink, whatever, you name it. Everybody's different on the tours, but then you try to jump on stage and you're like scared to death. You're like, I don't know how this is going to work because my voice is completely shot. I haven't had time to warm up. It's like I'm hungover. I need sunglasses. It's like, because people want to see this right now.
Oh, yeah.
And try and sound decent. But the cool thing about that set, though, is that morning part is that luckily the doors are just opening up. So there's really nobody there. So you kind of try and hammer fast through your 30 minutes and do decent for the last song, if anything else.
It's also like 50 degrees cooler than like an hour later. So it's nice. Yeah. So you're not actually dying on stage just yet.
No, but yeah, absolutely.
I loved seeing in that first week of Warped Tour, like you could tell who the rookies on the tour were because they would go out and party all night and then they would stumble around and like be in pain for their morning set because Kevin would every now and then like to teach bands a lesson. And you knew the ones who didn't know what they were doing because they wouldn't stop by like the Kia tent to grab like a free set of sunglasses or like a handkerchief or something like that and just like try and tough it out.
Or a water.
Yeah. Stop by Reverse Daycare for a water.
Yeah. No, precisely. Definitely.
Oh, man.
I learned that lesson myself a couple times as well. Our first Warped Tour was 2000 and I think it was 2004, 3 or 4 or something. No, 2003, I think, maybe, or 2002. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, somewhere in that little bracket of 2002 to 2006, I think is where we were hitting the Warped Tour. And that's a tough lesson. Now you're hauling your own stuff out there. You're getting up at 6 a.m., dragging your own shit out to like find your spot for your tent. Make sure to go one. Trying to find your buddies you can bunk up next to and set up merch. And you're sitting out there in the sun every day until you play. So you're already dehydrated. You're already defeated by the time you are supposed to play. And you're trying to make the best of it because there's no time for a nap because you don't know exactly what's happening. It was intense. It's an intense tour, especially when, a lot of people had buses. We had the van and trailer our entire Warped Tour experience. And so it's like guys like us and other bands alike had to just drive overnight from like the last Warped Tour, but you have to stick around until the very end of the Warped Tour each night.
Oh no! Damn it, we lost him. Sorry, guys. Jason is having some issues. Okay, so to go back, he will be back. So Alex, yes, a lasagna sandwich. It's basically just like a hoagie roll with vegan meatballs and sauce and vegan cheese, and it's delicious. And then they have hater tots for anybody who's watched Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. They have hater tots, and then there's also chocolate covered pretzels that come with it, which if you are a Kevin Smith fan, results from Mallrats. And they are a little melty, which is so much fun. Oh God, Vegas bombs, guys. No bombs. Vegas bombs are so rough, guys. Oh, hi, Jeremy. Oh, Mike. Hi, sweetie. Oh, how's Bethany doing? I miss you guys. Hi, Mrs. Lucas. Elbow cough. That is still what I'm waiting on. What are you waiting on? Oh, so about that lasagna sandwich. Yes. It sounds like heaven. It was really good. It's a little expensive because it's like a specialty thing, but whatever. Geez, sorry guys. This is the weirdest interview ever. But yeah, so little backstory with Jason and I. We go way, way back. I'm pretty sure he was on the first year that I was on Warped Tour, which was 2005. But like he was describing, you drive at night. For those bands that don't have buses, you literally had to drive yourself. You had to survive all day, do your show, sell your merchandise, wait till the very end of the day, and then you guys could leave and drive to the next city. Now, sometimes that was like a 6-hour drive, and sometimes it was like an 8-9 hour drive. And it was very, very rough. I did that my first year with my best friend Jessica because I was auditioning for Warped Tour, and it was just the two of us. And we put we had all of our stuff in her Camry and drove all over the state of California as my audition was happening, because I was a massage therapist in reverse daycare for the parents. And it was just really, really weird and so much fun, but you are exhausted. I think we lived off of the Warped Tour canned waters, Nutri-Green bars, and like Monsters, and then like any food that anybody would give us. And at the end of the night, there's a barbecue that you were able to go to and kind of hang out, and they had okay, hold on one second. And they would have a barbecue, and it was like a donation thing, where you would be able to just kind of like if you were getting like a burger and some chips or something, you'd throw in like $5 or $10, depending on how well you did that day. And you would walk down the line and get your food, and there was usually a band playing or somebody DJing, and people were dancing, and there was a drink booth area that you could throw in, again, a few bucks, and they give you a cup of something. Never really knew what it was. Oh, hey, Lucas. Hi, honey. It's good to see everybody here. Thank you guys for kind of hanging out. Audition. Yeah, so I think I'm going to cover that during my AMA next month. Guys, if you don't know, I have a Patreon. It is right up there. You can go $5 a month. I will be doing an AMA once a month for at least an hour. I mean, you guys all know I can talk until I'm blue in the face. Or I'll probably bring it up at some point later tonight. But trying to get Jason back on. Just trying to see what's going on. Don't know if he knows he left the stream. But oh, pretzels and hummus is really good, Jeremy. It's really delicious. Yes, Thrawn. Damn, these are exquisite. Love that. Can I play any instruments? No. I can kind of feel my way through a tune on a piano a little bit, very terribly. I know how to chicken peck out the theme song for Sesame Street. I can do Heart and Soul. It's about it. There's like a few other things, but I am not good at that. All right, Jason looks like he's back.
Suddenly
There
your phone
is.
dies. Suddenly your phone dies in Warped Tour, and all of a sudden you're like, what do I do? That was kind of a lesson, actually, on purpose. I was just kind of like, you know what? You're in the middle of conversation. Your wife's on the line, maybe your grandmother, your dad, and all of a sudden you're like, dead phone. And now what do? You're on stage. There's nothing left to do, but you have to run back to your little van with your inverter and try and catch up with the family, just like a podcast, and try and make up for lost time.
You toss your phone to Brian Dale, hope he catches it and charges it while you're finishing your set on a stage.
Exactly. And what if there's no Brian Dale? What if he's like, you know what? I'm busy doing something that's actually important. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, now I just lost 3 friends. And my mom probably is not going to talk to me for a month. So yeah, my phone died. Sorry, guys.
Oh, Manny. Maybe he got hungry after the lasagna story.
He was starving.
I was telling them about so I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan, as I display quite proudly. And he
Ooh.
has this pop-up special. You've seen Dogma, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Movies is a pop-up like specialty restaurant in LA right now. And they're doing like very special orders, and like there's only one thing on the menu, and they have it like regular and vegan. And
Cool.
the item menu is a lasagna sandwich, which is
nice.
sounds weird, but it's delicious. So I was telling them all about it because we were doing a little Q&A while you were finding your chords.
Thanks for your patience, bud. I was running around the house in circles. It's like my house, like a circle, pretty much a circular thing. It's like one hallway all the way around and like stuff in between. So I nailed it finally.
No worries. But yeah, I was telling them about how tough it can be when you're driving yourself on Warped Tour because there's only so many of you to handle all of the jobs, and somebody's got to constantly be selling merchandise, and someone has to drive all night, and then they get to sleep hopefully before you have to play. And
yeah,
it's a very, very hard. It's one of those things that when people in the industry find out that you have done Warped Tour more than once and have not gotten fired or quit, you can pretty much get a job on just about any tour.
Yeah, they know you're made of steel and
stupidity.
Stupidity. Yeah, there's a driving desire behind all of that, and it's definitely along those lines.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I was interviewing for my job touring with Beauty and the Beast, one of the women was like, "Oh, so what's this Warped Tour?" And I described it to her, and she's like, "That sounds awful." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, if you don't hire me, I'm going to try and find a job on it for the summer." She's like, "Oh no." She was so sad for me. I was like, "No, you don't understand. Like every day on Warped Tour is the best and worst day of your life."
Yeah, it's like, "Honey, I will save your life."
Yeah.
And let you and rehire you, no problem.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, there was a summer that while I was touring with Beauty and the Beast, that I had a free like 12 weeks over the summer and ended up getting a job on Warped Tour. And then I came back and they're like, "So what'd you do this summer?" I was like, "I worked on Warped Tour." They're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because it's family."
Yeah, no doubt. It really is. It truly is. It was awesome, man. I mean, it's still obviously a thing. It's not like it used to be as far as like continual, go tour, but it's still a thing, which is cool. And
well, kind of. Last year was the last, right? It was the 25th anniversary, and then Kevin kind of called it quits.
I thought they were doing still like I haven't kept up, I guess, since our last one. Well, not I've kept up with it, but that's not the last one. But I'm saying as far as like I think I kept on catching wind that it was still going to be like a 3-destination type of tour, not tour, but like event,
like a sit-down festival.
Well, I mean, not this year. This year obviously is different, but I mean, from past time hearing after they called it quits, I think that my understanding was they were going to do 3 cities like Chicago, kind of like a fest.
Riot Fest.
Riot Fest, yeah. Like they do like Chicago, they do like Denver, and they do Los Angeles, something like that. I think that's what the general concept was that my understanding at least. I'm not sure, but
yeah, I remember seeing something about like I think they called it 320 Fest or something like that. So hopefully something like that will be coming out, because honestly, at this point, I know everybody is so hungry for entertainment and live music and just being around people and hanging out and just having that camaraderie and that that time to be together. So I mean, after this, guy, your shows are going to sell out so effing fast.
Woo, let's do it.
Silver lining.
No, I'm excited to jump on people again instead of jumping around my house and nail things into the wall.
I'm sure your wife will be excited for you to get out of the house.
Oh man, no, it's been cool though. It really has. It's like this little zone. Like I said, we got a little puppy. Well, here's a little dude right here.
Oh yeah, where is he?
Little buddy. Where's he at? That's Ziggy. Ziggy right there.
Ziggy. You'll come
chilling. He follows me around like the house like a shadow. It's pretty cute.
I love how. So I love that you're like, how tall? You're like 6'2", 6'1", 6'2". Yeah. So Jason's not a small man, but you have the tiniest dogs, and it's the cutest thing.
They're cute. They're adorable. They don't shed a whole lot. We have 4 cats too. So
that's true.
That's the thing. We had 4. Yeah, we had 4 dogs prior to Little Hunter here and everything else. But They all grew up together. They're 14. And they passed last year, so now we have the new puppies and the new additions to the family, and it's just cute. It's start small and kind of grow and see what's up.
Yeah.
You know, they're just adorable. You know, my wife had her first dog was Chihuahua. The first dog we had together, you know, it's her first dog she got when she moved out from Indiana to Arizona, and it was a little Chihuahua named Butch, and he was cute as hell. He liked me for a while, and then he got a little snarly and old, and you know. And so from there we kind of kept adopting dogs, and just Chihuahuas are always like little cute little dudes, and this guy's a little silent giant too. It's just not the nibbler on the ankles, just very cool and protective when needs to be, but also just quiet and cute.
Nice. Yeah, my aunt owned my Aunt Christine owned Boston Terriers her whole life, and so when she married my uncle, she had a Boston Terrier, and then the Boston Terrier passed away, you know, old age, whatever. And my uncle was like, awesome. Now we're going to get like a real dog. And she came home the next day with another Boston. He's like, I'm never getting a big dog, am I? She's like, no. I think they're on their like 6th one now. I mean, they've been married for, 35, 40 years, something like that. So like, you stick with what you love.
No, absolutely. You're like, I'm going to try this Great Dane. You know what I liked about the other guy was the other guy.
Yes, Alex.
You kind of get used to that environment too, and the way you take care of them in different ways. And I mean, every size is a different experiment. Food, medication. As I get older, you name it. Life expectancy, things of all that. It's wild.
Now, are you describing the dog or us?
Everything. Yeah, I guess life in general. How's that? Yeah, life in general is anybody you meet, anything you meet in life is a complete different project or experiment. So expect the oddest and hope for the best.
Now, you guys, so you started off. You formed Authority Zero, what, like 25 years ago?
26 this summer.
Jeez.
Yeah. Just crazy. It's crazy to think that far.
So in your infancy, when you formed this band.
Yeah, when I was 6.
Yeah.
I had this vision of a punk rock band when I was 6 years old. And here we are. No.
But you guys have come so far. You've played all around the world. You've played so many festivals. You've gotten your songs in movies and, video games. What do you think is like one of those moments that you just kind of stood back and was like, this is really fucking cool?
Kind of like the holy shit moment?
Yeah.
Basically. Holy shit moment for me was initially when because we started playing, again, locally, like every band does, and we played like 7 days a week. I swear to God, like 6 days if anything else, like just house parties, as every band again does, in like local venues around town, and just we play outside of we practice outside of our old school and just use our electricity to have a place to practice until we got kicked out by the security guards. You know what I mean? Like we just jam out. It was crazy, man, thinking back about it. And so from all of that to the buildup of when I guess we kind of started figuring out what we were doing, kind of, and we still didn't know. I don't know what the fuck we're doing. I have no idea. We're just having a good time with it, but especially then, it was like that moment when it kind of clicked. We got found on the radio out here on 106.3, 103.9. There's a thing called Backyard Bollocks. It was like a local show, just like punk rock for 1 hour every Sunday. And I had a demo of one of ours that I ran down to the station in downtown Phoenix and just slid it under the door basically. And I kept on just hounding my now friend, very close friend, Derek Seidenstick, Craven Moorhead. I was like, hey man, do you like CD? I slid blah, blah, blah. I slid it on the door. And so he finally listened to it, which is awesome. And he's like, this is cool. It reminds me of some old Descendants stuff. I'm like, okay. I don't see it, but right on, brother. I like it. And so we played it one night, and we all gathered around the jukebox, little boom box or whatever, and just freaked out. We're like, oh my God, we're on the radio. It's freaking us out. And then we made more acquaintances with the radio station and the higher ups as well. On top of that, the program directors, and we recorded some more quality music. And then that got pushed on the actual mainstream radio here locally.
Wow.
And then people started really paying attention. It was the song Sky's the Limit and One More Minute you know, were our first initial like out of the box songs that we pushed that were on mainstream radio, I guess. And from there, record labels started noticing this unsigned band that kept on getting spun on a radio station, and so they started paying attention. And then all of a sudden, they started coming out to our shows here in Phoenix, coming out to watch us play and see our audience and whatever. And the audience kept growing because of that. It was a helpful tool that was in play. And they thought, you know, they at first initially thought it was kind of a, you know, a local fluke kind of thing. It'll pass. Mm-hmm. And people kept on paying attention, which was really, really gracious and cool. And then so they're like, okay, let's go back out there again and check it out. And so they did. And then they offered us a contract or whatever, you know, Love Atlantic Records. And then because they did that, Universal Records offered us a contract. And, you know, at this point, granted, take consideration, we've been chasing down like a lot of the indie punk labels like Epitaph and Fat. That was our dream, was like to be on one of those labels, you know. You know, these guys came to us and offered these things, and they kind of went to battle together. And I think it was the moment we were in Vegas when Universal came out, and we thought we were going to sign the contract with them and be on the record label and release our first actual record, full length. And then it went the other direction, oddly. But that was one of those holy shit moments, you know. I don't know. It was like one of those, what the hell is happening right now?
Actually, I met one of your label mates because of you guys on Warped Tour. I was standing watching you guys play, and I looked to my left, and like Kaleo from Pepper is standing like literally a foot to my left, and I'm a huge fan of them too. And I just kind of looked over, and I was like, "How are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, hey. He's like, he looked down and like saw my pass and like knew I wasn't just like creeping on him, because he's like one of the most attractive human beings God ever created.
Kaleo.
Kaleo.
Uncle Kaleo.
What a beautiful man. And so we like stood there and like became friends while we were watching your set, and like they're like, yeah, they're on our label, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like, that's sweet. That was fun. Yeah, I think that, guys, if you haven't heard One More Minute, give it a listen. It is, no joke, one of my top 10 all-time favorite songs. It calms me down. It's really good. It could really help out in pandemic times to still your frustrations and keep you from spinning out mentally. I know it does for me.
I agree with that. Honestly, like this is the song in general itself. It's like, you know, we've gotten a lot of love from the military, like overseas and in those situations, like with that song in general too, which blew my mind, because I would think for sure, like, you know, songs like Revolution or like some of the more hard hitting songs would be like the ones they contact us about, like, that got me like all fired up.
Yeah.
But it was that song. It really was that song in particular we heard the most about, and the love we got from a lot of the military overseas throughout the years, that just kind of took them back to the happy place and like reminded them of home, or just that time they were at peace and had, it just calms you down a little bit in an odd way. I don't know.
Well, so, yeah. I mean, it starts off with the sound of waves, and then the first two lines are going back to where I came from. So so far away, but not so far from home. Like, that applies when you're in the desert in like the middle of nowhere, like bending for your life. Like, I get it. It's a really important song to a lot of people, which is why I'm always like, I want to hear it. Like, every time you play, I'm like, one more minute. You're like, shut up. Play it.
No, I know. You get that request often, and obviously, you know, you play it a lot, and you want to play new songs, but that does mean a lot. I mean, very much when people do request it. It's very special. Well,
so on the other end of the spectrum for your songs, you do have like these really hard hitting, amazingly political and just really like important songs about speaking up for yourself and like defending yourself. Which are some of your favorites to like not just sing, but like that you're really proud that you like wrote?
Find Your Way is a big one. I wrote that acoustic, and I think it's just like, it's a matter of, I know exactly the moment I wrote that song. It was in Norfolk, Virginia. I was on tour again, and it was a long night, and we were having some cocktails. Weird. And I remember it was with our friends Jack Move from Norfolk, Virginia, out there on the East Coast. And we were walking through the streets, and I started jumping up on the walls, and I fell down in the gutter, and I just had that epiphany, that moment, you know, of like what the hell are you? You know, you were in the moment, you're excited. It was just like many years ago.
Yeah.
So you're excited, you're young, you're dumb, and, you know, you're over the top doing, you know, having as much fun as you can, obviously on the road. And that song came like just almost instantaneous, like Find Your Way. And it's hit a lot of people equally, I think. And I've got a lot of just comments back and forth with fans that have really gotten a lot out of it. And it's helped them through some really hard times, like also through like suicidal moments, you know, marriage problems, things of that nature, you know, and it's just the light at the end of the tunnel, and there's a way out in many, you know, many of those regards, I guess. So that's one I'm very proud of, and I love that song to death. Another one stands out is Revolution. Revolution's a song. It sounds super political, but it's really, truly not. It's just about change in general. It's about the change within yourself. It's about a lot of my songs. I mean, lyrically, I guess our songs as Authority are seemingly politically charged, but they're more socially and internally charged with the lyrical content. Just kind of like looking inside yourself rather than blaming anybody else or expecting things from people, rather than doing something by yourself and like trying to make yourself happier and not wait for someone else or some other source to make you feel what you're looking for, and trying to make that change in other people's lives as well.
Yeah, it's
you know,
I mean, I love all of your songs have a very dear spot in my heart, but those three specifically really, really do. But then you have like these really fun songs that like once you listen to them even for the first time, and all you want to do is dance, and like you just want to learn the lyrics so you can shout them out. Where did you learn to sing so fast?
I get that question a lot, Rach, actually.
I know.
It's funny because like it started with talking too fast, which I obviously talk too fast too. It's hard to understand me sometimes. But I have
no idea what it's like to talk too fast at all.
Yeah, right, totally. Yeah, my folks always said, you know, coming up, they're like, Jason, you need to enunciate. And like we can't understand you, you're mumbling. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then, you know, it's like, you know, and you know, so I did start kind of making fun of the idea of that, I guess, a little bit, and like it actually taught me to enunciate a little better, but not when I'm talking, but when I'm singing. So that kind of coincided with just a lot of the old punk rock stuff coming up, you know, like a lot of the faster lyrics and like being able to understand what the hell was going on. And I just latched onto that, I guess. And again, with that, I'm also a huge fan of Celtic folk Irish music, obviously, too. And with that comes a lot of, you know, speed talking and singing and otherwise, you know, and gibberish, you know, at the same time. So it's like it all just kind of meshed together, and I just kind of latched onto that, and it became a thing that I just naturally did and was comfortable with. It's almost like when I sing slower, I'm uncomfortable. You know, it's like maybe it's a nervous tick, but like singing faster makes me more comfortable rather than like holding and singing, trying to sing slower tempo kind of stuff.
I mean, I feel like it's just because I do the same thing when I speak, because I mean, we both have that. We'll talk very, very quickly, and people will be like, "Wait, slow down. What did you just say?" But I feel like I feel like when I speak slower, people listen more clearly, and so there's more intention behind it, and it's just you're a little more vulnerable. And I mean, performing in and of itself is one of the most vulnerable things you can ever do. Like just even standing on the side of a stage when you're not performing is a little nerve-wracking if like that's not who you are. But yeah, there was a song. Oh, Courage.
Oh, that's one. I'm sorry.
Courage is one of my favorites.
That's
but yeah,
I'm also very happy with.
I feel like your songs, like I said, I feel like they're politically charged, but like you said, it's a lot of like self-empowerment, and like I know that when a bunch of those songs came out about self-empowerment, it was during the time of a little bit of social unrest, and we had, you know, a not so unfamiliar situation with the presidency, even though now it's a little more volatile.
Sure.
But
we did.
You did what?
I mean, once again, like let's say Revolution came out during the Rock Against Bush compilation. You know, that's that time frame with NoFX and all that they put out with a great group of bands that were also part of that catalog we were on. You know, and those after. So it did coincide. They always coincide. I mean, lyrically, with everything I try and write, to the music we do with Authority, it's kind of open-ended. It's not like it's like the middle ground or anything by any means, and it's not like not picking a side, but it just like, you know, it leaves it open for people to like just really use it for what they think and what they're feeling, whether it be like their own lives or whether it be politically charged, otherwise too, or socially, or you know, either way. Just to not like pigeonhole anybody into certain corners to where they're like, you have to listen to exactly what I'm talking about, and this is what I feel, and you should feel the same way.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause that's just not fair. That's just stupid. I think it's a bad way to do things personally. I don't do that myself. I think it's great to educate people on that through your lyrics if you know what you're talking about completely. But otherwise, I just speak how I feel and how the emotions I'm going through in any situation of that nature, and just kind of put it out there on the platform and present it the way that I feel naturally to do so, rather than forcing things to anyone. You know, just give people their own minds to like take it hopefully in a positive way and use it toward their advantage.
Yeah, I feel like that was why Warped Tour was so important, because it gave everyone a voice to say what they wanted to, no matter how crazy or dyed hair or pierced whatever. Like you always had a voice, and it was always being listened to. I feel like that's going to be a really sad thing missing in the world until the world starts turning again, and you know, Kevin gets Warped Tour back together.
No, I bet you 2011 is the year. I think after this year of everybody taking off, we've canceled. All of our tours have been canceled this entire year. So we're just kind of, here we are like this, you and I, you know, it's like, it's how the world is spinning right now. And I think 2011 is going to be
21.
You know, 2021. Sorry, my bad. God, we're there already?
I know, Jesus. Right? I was like, no, we're not going on Warped Tour this summer. I know, that was a hard summer.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, but the turnaround again, like for the next year, I think there are a lot of people really, really excited and really charged. I mean, depending once again how things progress or don't, or whatever is going to happen, you know, along the way. I think if things do progress slowly throughout the year, 2021 is going to be a very fantastic musical year of a shitload of tours and albums and a lot of fun and expression.
Oh yeah. I mean, I know that there's my roommate is a songwriter and singer, so like he's been pumping out songs and like music videos while we've been sitting around the apartment. So it's been really fun. I mean, you guys all know him in the chat, Marzonia. But you had one of your songs used in the movie, in one of my favorite movies of all time, Grind. Did you ever get to see that?
I did see it. That was blew our minds. It was Le Surf.
Yeah, it was. I remember.
Yeah, the pool scene.
Yeah, I remember watching it, and then like all of a sudden the scene happens, and I was like, "Wait a minute, those are my friends. Like I know those guys."
Yeah, that was cool. That was.
And what a soundtrack to be a part of! Like that had everyone at that time just like super involved. It was such a great soundtrack. What's some of your favorite soundtracks?
Some of my favorite soundtracks?
Yeah. Oh no. I don't think you wanted to answer that question. What is going on tonight, guys? Thanks for sticking around. Oh, hey, Camshaft. I know PLD is probably out of here, but hi, buddy. I love you, hubby. We'll probably be wrapping up soon when he gets back. So if you guys have any questions for Jason or me, throw those into the chat. I know I've got a question from Alex in Streamlabs. If you want to get a question, please go through that as well if you can spare a few bucks. Let's see what's going on. I know everybody's like hanging out, and I mean, if I wasn't here, I would definitely be watching the Parks and Rec on right now. I don't know if it's on with you guys where you are. Yeah, bye, Jason. We'll be back. Where is everybody? I saw some questions before, so let's go up a little bit. Okay, let's answer this one. What got me into touring? I have what my mom, or had for the most part, what my mom used to call itchy feet. I was never satisfied being in one place for too long. I would get really antsy and have to change scenery a lot. I would drive down to, I grew up in San Jose, California, and then I would drive down to Santa Cruz or up to San Francisco, Oakland. And then when I started really getting into music, I would do 24-hour drives down to LA for a concert and drive right back afterwards. It was very dangerous. I do not recommend it because it's like a 6-hour drive there and 6.5 back because I'm exhausted. And I would stop at the same Subway or Safeway parking lot on the way back and like park between two massive trucks that would just be stopped and like parked in the parkway or in the not the driveway. I can talk tonight apparently. In the parking lot and sleep there, which it sounds a little shady, but if you're going to be anywhere, the safest place to be is with truckers. No joke. I actually was driving down to LA one night and ended up I realized I was being followed. There was a car behind me for like almost an hour. Would switch lanes when I switched, would come back. Did not know this person. I was driving through the middle of nowhere, but I knew that there was a diner, like a legit roadside diner in California off the 101. And I pulled over and got watched over by truckers. And there's Jason.
Yeah, so I mean, I think some of my favorite soundtracks are actually I'm gonna fire this phone. I'm sorry, everybody out there.
Perfect.
Oh my God, I can't even do it. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I feel bad. This thing is just like it's an iPhone 6, and so it's not really working that great. But hopefully, you guys are entertained by my lackiness.
Oh yeah. I mean, actually, you left, and then Ferris said, "Bye, Jason."
Hey,
So.
Ferris.
Ferris is great, but yeah, soundtracks.
All right, soundtracks. I'd say Gleaming the Cube.
Ooh.
Yeah, old school shit. Also because my favorite skaters are in there. What else? Let me think. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you.
You got me? Okay, cool. I can take these out because they don't work anymore either. Jeez. Sick of technology. It's ridiculous.
Stupid.
Silly goose. Oddly, I'd say The Crow.
Why oddly? That is one of the best soundtracks of all cinema.
Yeah, it stands out quite a lot from my my younger years for sure. That's one that's really pretty good, I think. And what else? Oh, it's not really a soundtrack, I guess, but it's what's it called again? Oh, The Departed.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, Dropkick is like the entire soundtrack, but it's a great song, and I really enjoy that track.
Actually, it's funny you say that song. So I'm pretty sure we've talked about. I participate in this thing called the Movie Trivia Schmodown, and it's basically like wrestling meets movie trivia. And there's like factions and good guys and bad guys, and like everybody in the chat are fans of it. Like that's how they came to be. But it's also we had a team called the Patriots that would come out to that song, and it was like now it's forever and always just kind of remembered as like, oh, you hear that song, you need to see Jeff Snyder and JTE come out, and it's just like this Pavlovian response at this point.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I'm actually trying to get Ken on because Ken and I go way back too. Ken is also one of my massage clients, as is Jason. Jason has this habit of holding his microphone in his right arm. So the most
Dude, today, actually, this whole section, I'm not even fucking with you. Like, I put a shelf up in my kitchen, like I said, or my laundry room, and this whole thing, the same thing, the thing we always try and work out, pain today. I don't know what's going on, but it's like super tight and super dumb.
Grab a tennis ball and put it underneath it and stretch your arm up and then to the side and just breathe.
So put it under here or put it under here?
Put it under like right here.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll help. It won't be a lot, but it'll help.
All right.
But yeah.
It's been driving me nuts.
No, guys, I don't think you understand. Every time I see Jason now, I've basically conditioned him to be like,
Use the other, yeah. Use this guy rather than this guy. But this is my game arm, man. As
Yep.
Dickie would say from the Mighty Boss Tones. This is my game arm. If I lose this, I'm in deep trouble. But that is my game arm, and it's going out because I keep on using the same arm.
Yeah, and because I'm not at your shows. Legitimately, he knows I'm at the shows when all of a sudden over the din you hear, switch arms!
No, for sure. And I can't do it. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm a righty.
Well, you're going to be crippled soon if you don't switch.
It's like still like this all the time. Probably like all hunched over.
Probably. So we had a question. I think we already answered it. Yeah. So Alex asked favorite movie soundtrack of all time. She loves Romeo and Juliet and
I like that
Cruel
one a lot.
Intentions.
With DiCaprio?
Yeah.
I like that one a lot too, actually.
It's
that's what I actually love that movie. To be honest with you, all around, I think it's a great one.
yeah.
DiCaprio is also one of my favorite actors, I guess, throughout the years. You know, when I was younger and handsome, I used to get that I looked like a kid from Growing Pains, and there was him when he was. We both had the split hair thing. Oh yeah.
You swoop.
Obviously, things have changed, but back in the day, but he grew up to be a pretty fantastic actor, I think, throughout the years. Like There Will Be Blood and not that one.
The Revenant.
That one, yeah, he did great in that one too. He's done some good films, I think, throughout the years, and he's made himself a pretty prominent actor. But yeah, good soundtrack on Romeo and Juliet too, as well.
Right. And Cruel Intentions, they're both like quintessential 90s movies.
Yeah.
So those are really good calls, Alex. And Ferris threw in $10 and says, when you are writing a song, do you have a structure for the writing, or is it more of a free-flowing experience? Much love and stay safe.
Alex, you said?
No, Ferris.
Oh, Ferris. I'm sorry. Hey, Ferris. I don't have a specific way I do write music. I pretty much come in this actual office right here. It's my office, and I sit down with my guitar and just kind of start strumming around a little bit, and then start kind of doing a mumbling thing that goes with the melody, and then words start kind of coming out that whatever may be happening that day that I'm feeling or have been feeling throughout the week, all of a sudden something triggers, and I get my pen and pad out. It's my writing book right here, actually. Check it out. It's my old guitar player and friend Bill Marks got me this years ago. It's a little leather bound thing. Wrote a song last night. It says right here, to my friend Jason, for precious words, lyrics, and thoughts. Love you, bro, Bill. 93.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Wait, so he got you that before you formed Authority Zero?
He did. Apparently 93. Yeah, he must have.
So he knew.
Was it 97 or is it 93? This might be 97. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was like, how they even work?
I was like, you get those lotto numbers from him.
Yeah. But yeah, I wrote a song on this last night. I started first off just writing down basically just thoughts as well sometimes, without trying to rhyme, and then going, sometimes like it helps with lyrical content with rhyming to keep things fluid, with songwriting in general to make it nice and cohesive. But typically I'll just write down random thoughts, and then from there break it down and make it fit the song that I've been doing on the guitar. And then they just kind of trying to find different words that make sense to what I'm trying to say in a bigger way or a different way with one word rather than five, if that makes sense. Choruses are a big thing for me, so I'll typically write the chorus first because it's the all-encompassing idea of the song. And it's like what you're trying to say in the end result. And the rest is always kind of, I won't say gibberish, but it's a lot of just random thoughts leading up to what I'm actually about to talk about.
Yeah.
as a whole.
Do you have a favorite chorus?
Courage is one. It's that's a big open chorus, and I love the big open choruses. It's one of my favorite things to do is wordy verses and then big open chorus, so people can understand a little better what's happening and sing along, I guess.
I mean, to be fair, I've been to so many of your shows that people just sing along no matter what.
Yeah,
but what's some of your favorite songs to hear sung back to you?
Passage in Time is one of my favorites. The first song off our first full-length record. What else is there? Courage is actually a strong one. It really is. And Courage and Find Your Way both, actually. it's one of those, I think it's familiar enough to where if you put the microphone out, not to like not sing it, but like feel comfortable with people knowing and feeling something the same way during a show, and just hear it in unison with the entire crowd, it's really chilling, and it's really makes you feel really good that people have paid that much attention and like really have the same kind of emotions going on.
Yeah, it's definitely a moving experience hearing Courage like sung by a massive group of human beings who just like were beating the crap out of each other in the pit like 2 songs ago, and then everybody's got their arms around each other. And I think that that's one of my favorite things about music is its unifying experience.
Absolutely. That's right too, for sure.
All right. So last call for questions, guys, because I'm afraid that Jason's phone might die again.
I got to phone the wife. That's all it is, guys. It's not the phone. It's not the phone. I promise.
Yeah.
It was all part of the act.
All right. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and put those in now. I'm going to ask a few more. We're going to be on for a few more minutes, and then I'll close up with my regular questions. Have you not played somewhere that you've always wanted to?
Yes. Brazil. We haven't played South America yet. Africa. I'd love to play in Africa. Actually, what was supposed to happen this year was Hawaii on the way to Japan, but that whole thing got canceled, obviously, or put off for now, we'll say. I was looking forward to that. Alaska is the one state I have not. Well, no, I'm sorry, 2, then Hawaii, my bad. Alaska, we're supposed to be on that route as well, and I've always like been intrigued to go and scope that out and play out there. But I think those are probably 2 of the more prominent ones, is like South America and Africa. Just I think it'd be kind of cool, just different, you know.
Yeah, Alex says she wants to go to Korea.
Korea was on this tour too that got canceled. We were supposed to go Alaska to Hawaii, Japan. Korea was our last date, and then we are gonna fly back home. That all got shut down. It was about a month ago that was supposed to happen.
You guys have a massive following in Japan. Like, I remember watching a video a few years ago of like one of your tours through Japan, and the crowds are just massive, and they know every word.
Their crowds are just in general awesome out there. I mean, even if they don't know the words at all, you know, the here we goes, like a Passion in Time we talked about, like the sing along things, they just at least embrace and catch that, and just love the music. It just, they love music, they love rock and roll, they love punk rock, they love ska, you know. And it's, you know, we've had a lot of help out there with a lot of friends that are also in Japanese bands out there that have grown significantly, and they bring their audiences out, and pretty much if they're backing you out there, if the bands are backing you out there, the audience is backing you as well.
Yeah, they're very tribal in that aspect of like, oh, you like them? Well, now you're family.
It's exactly true. Yeah, it's like they're so gracious out there. They really are. I mean, it's just, they're just high spirited, full of energy. You know, when you stop playing a song, all of a sudden the audience is dead quiet, no one's moving. It's like kind of odd. The first time we went out there with Les and Jake, I was like, the fuck just happened? Did we suck? You know, first time was done. We barely made it there, and we played. Les and Jake went on before us, so that we could actually play, and we missed our flight from the States over there. We got there, 2-hour drive. We got straight to the venue, no sleep, jumped on stage in front of 2,000 people, and Les and Jake had just got finished, so they were pretty much like the show was over, you know. Yeah. It was their show, you know, and we went on them all. Like, everyone's like half dead, probably been sipping on the plane, like and we get up there, and it's all, like I said, it's quiet in between songs, like complete dead silence, 2,000 people just staring at you. All, oh, I fucked up. Sorry guys, I fucked up. And it just turns out it's a respect thing, and it's just they're really just cool. They're really just respectful of everything out there. It's cool.
Yeah, I think that was one of my favorite times surprising you on tour, was when you were on tour with Les and Jake, and you guys were in Santa Cruz, and I happened to be there like on a day off, and drove up and got to surprise you guys, because I'm, you know, good friends with Les and Jake. They're Warped Tour band as well. Mm-hmm. That was actually right when Chris found out that he was going to be a dad for the first time.
Oh man, yeah.
Right, and now he's got 2 kids. Like, I think I met. When did you get married? Because I think we met right after you got married.
2000 and let's see, how many years ago was that? 2006. 2006.
Yeah, so I think I met you 2007, because the picture that I showed earlier was 2008. And we'd known each other for a while at that point. Like,
totally. Yeah.
God, through babies and marriages.
Yeah.
And divorces. Yay!
39,000 years later, still hanging out.
With busted bodies and sore muscles.
Sore ass muscles. Ah.
I know. I'm sorry I'm not there. But to be fair, we were supposed to hang out this weekend for the show. So at least we're hanging out now.
Yeah, see?
So if you want to give any shout outs, we'll go through the shout outs and plugs, and then I'll ask my last question and we will get you out of here so you can go pick up your lovely wife.
Rock and roll, yeah. Just plug-in wise, authorityzero.com, obviously, jasondevore.com. If you guys want to check out like any t-shirts, merchandise for both of the programs, noshirtnoservice.com.
Right
There's
down
like iPhone cases, there's socks, there's backpacks, there's
masks.
There's masks up there, yeah. And also, speaking of which, with masks, I have a skateboard company called Earth Skateboards.
Yes.
So if you go to, it's just like a donation skateboard company. My friend Clay Lake and I started up, probably 7 years ago now, which is weird. But here's some of the skateboards. Jesse Michaels from Operation Ivy did this design right here. Also, Punk Rock Saves Lives. My friend Rob Rushing runs that organization.
Who is the sweetest.
Yeah, check them out, punkrocksaveslives.org. And you can also pick up your Earth masks there. Once again, skateearth.com at the merch store. And that's about what I got.
And then tomorrow night, don't forget, tune in to Beach Life Fest. The web address is right down there. Look them up on Facebook, set the reminder. Jason is going to be live at about 6:05 West Coast time. So set your reminders, tune in. It's a free show. It's going to be really fun. There's a ton of talent lined up for that, and it's insane and ridiculous. So I like to close my shows out with one last question. One of my favorite movies of all time is Almost Famous. So do you have to be happy to write a love song? Do you have to be sad to write a sad song? What's your favorite thing about music?
My favorite thing about music completely, and why I've stayed consistent with a lot of it, and just the passion I have for it, is that it is just a matter of pure emotion, and it's a release that you cannot describe, especially when you play it live. Writing is one thing, it's expression, but the idea of live music in general is just almost like a drug, to where you need to have it or you go fucking crazy. It's a complete physical and mental release, exhaustingly to the point of that. And it's just driven my life through ups and downs and all arounds. Yeah,
I completely agree. Last quick question. Alex got this in right at the buzzer. Do you like taking the fam and dogs on tour with you? I don't know if you've taken the dogs with you. Have you?
I took my little dude, Caden. He's one of the little dudes that passed, unfortunately, last year. But I took him on a 3-day trip. Luckily, it was I was like, oh, I'll take a little roadie dog out here for a minute, and give him a run. And I felt bad. I mean, because I know it's loud in the venues and stuff. And so I would leave in the van with it running, oddly, to give him air in there. It's like a big space. For the 3 shows we did through California and Vegas. And I could tell, even just 1 hour on stage when he's hanging out by himself, he's got lonely, kind of got disconnected and got confused. And so luckily it wasn't so it started a 3-day run before we actually headed out to go east, but we were passing back through my hometown, Tempe. So it was a trial run with that. And I loved it. I mean, everybody loved it in the van. I have him out there. But I just knew that he was kind of getting a little anxious, I think, being out there and away from the home situation. So I brought him back home, and I think it's cool. It works for some people, but I think with him in particular, he just had that anxiousness about him to where I didn't feel good about it.
And your wife comes out and visits you on tour, which is great.
My wife as well. Yeah, she comes out also. I'm sorry, but with me being gone and having dogs at home and cats and all that, and she also works. She's a manager of a place here in town. So she's very busy with work. So whenever she gets a chance to break away, we'll do little trips where it's if it's a cool, fun spot that she's it's like a beach town or something. We're like, hey, come out for a few days, and we'll explore that. And depending upon her schedule as well, we'll make it happen, just because it's just nice. It's a nice break between tours. Tours are typically in the States about a month and a half straight. So if you can break that up midway through and see each other and at least just, have that for a moment, it makes it a lot easier for sure. And we did Europe one time too. Her nationality is Latvia, out in Europe. Her home country is their family, and so it worked out really well one time to where she got to come out for about a week straight. We got to go to Latvia with her family for about a week, and then branch off for a couple of shows through Slovenia and otherwise, and then she'd come back home. So we've had our adventures in Japan as well. Sorry, yeah. Now it's all coming back to me. Yeah, Japan one time as well. And once again, it works. It's a matter of like schedules with work.
Yeah, I loved getting to meet her we've known each other for like 8 years at this point, and then she was in Brooklyn the night that I got to come out, and like we met, and she was like, "Oh my God, I've heard so much about you," and I was like, "I know so much about you," and it was like the typical girl meeting. It was lovely. She's like one of the sweetest people, just obnoxiously, disgustingly beautiful too. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up here. We're gonna let Jason go pick up his gorgeous wife. Thank you so much for attending. If you want to hang out for a second, I'm gonna close out the show, and then we can talk for a little bit, or I will talk to you later. But everybody say goodbye to Jason.
Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your rage. Love you.
Love you. All right, guys. So that is the last of this episode. Thank you so much for hanging out and dealing with all of our technical difficulties. But you guys are legitimately the best. I love you. I will see you next week. Keep an eye out on my Twitter and Twitter and Instagram for announcements for who my next guest is. I'm pretty sure it's going to be amazing. So see you next week, guys.